I want to make a video, right? Correctly stating that I've stopped making videos for a while. The reason why is because I'm just working two jobs, going from one spot to another spot and having at least 3 hours of sleep. Three. So, what's the problem, you say, right? There's no problem, but you have to find a way to produce enough capital to reinvest that money to get ahead in life, right? There's no other way around it. And if you're doing it correctly, then all you need to do is just wait it out. In a year, you'll be so up that no one could tell you anything, right? Um, I think, right, that there's a lot of opportunities out there, right? Well, for me, instance, I don't really enjoy doing a restaurant job. I'm very socially awkward. I don't. I'm not a server. I'm not. They make good enough money per se, but that's just not my avenue, right? So I have two jobs in which I stay to myself, and that's how I like it. Now, let's talk about the United States of America, right? It's a it's a wonderful country. Do we have disagreements? Yeah, we do. But that that's what. But you go to another country, and it's the same thing. They have disagreements, right? It's always a class warfare. Middle class against high class, right? And don't be fooled, right? Much of this left wing versus right wing is much more of a power play. So, for instance, let's talk about Democrats, right? You have all these social safety nets for low and poverty income people, right? Yet there's no real like a safety net, right? But there's no continuation that will make those people overcome their predicament. So what happens, right? As we saw with Doge, or as we've seen time and time again, that much of these politicians take the money and pocket pocket it to themselves, right? And you wonder why the MTA is very outdated. Schools outdated, and this is not from this year alone. There's been decades of of people in power having their play um generate money for themselves. So that's why I say it's a power play. They want power, and they will play the game, and they will pocket everything. And so then come the right wing, where they want to have government be less, right? They want to reduce safety nets. Reduce, not eliminate. Eliminate a lot of corruption. See, there's one thing that you have to understand about the United States, in that we're a very capitalist country. Majorly because we are competing with other countries. So you got big tech, you got Walmart, you got retail, right? All these stores, KFC, McDonald's, um, Trader Joe's, and so on and so on. The reason why United States is a very powerful country is because they the chains of, let's say, McDonald's, they export to other countries. We're like the middle of entrepreneurship, right? So all these people that work for these corporations, right? They need those people. We get a living wage, and I do agree that it shouldn't be more than that. I think that as a corporation or as a country that's valued on what you can do, then it should be that you are paid what your service is accredited for, right? So if you're working in retail and do this and that and manage, you only get paid this much. But if you're working corporate, you know, where you're dealing with big decisions and stuff like that, of course you should get paid more. So I think people are fighting the wrong battle. Corporations are not the ones that are making the country suffer. I think politicians are. All right, politicians who mess the country up, because corporations will always want to get the the highest bid and the highest return on their investment. Right? It's just how businesses work. You're not gonna produce a business where that business, if they had a say, would be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to take full profit. I'll take half profit, because it does not make sense, right? So it does not make sense. So your fight against corporate, in that you want a better living wage. It's not programmed to be like that, right? Now where you have to search out for what you want is in a different avenue. But I would not tell you that, because you have to search it up on yourself. And this whole this whole thing, this whole situation is very unfortunate. Uh, I believe that it's a there's no easy solution to this. Are they playing their hand too much? Could be. It could be. But you have to also understand that as cops, right, or these people that get attacked, also they've been attacked, shooting ICE agents, right? So you have to understand this line of work is best to let them do their job. They because you might say, okay, well, there is civilians, right? Americans, they possess no threat, but it only takes one, right? So they have to stay vigilant. What we what we began to understand that we are understanding right now more than back then was that when we had Biden, anything it was anything goes, right? It just didn't make sense. You had mass migration, especially with Venezuelans, the criminal Venezuelans, right? In New York City, and you had all these caravans coming into the country, into the United States of America, where we have our own problems, inequality. I will say that something has to be done for probably a stronger middle class, but that's some politicians. Like I said, that's not corporations, and I think majority is because politicians and the Fed have decreased or the value of the dollar. Our dollar is worth way less. We're getting cents on the dollar as payment. So whatever, that's a whole another story. But as I was saying, Biden, we were doing everything that made no sense. Ukraine war. Do you hear about that war anymore? How many billions of dollars did they sent over there? For what? Now you might say Trump. Well, Trump, the Venezuela attack, the but you have to understand that this president, right, is doing stuff that it doesn't compute to me because he's not a regular politician. Politicians are they they talk, right? This guy's action. This guy works. Um, eh, do your due diligence and search up Venezuela and how much China was overtaking that side of our hemisphere. When it comes to oil, when it comes to other utilities, that they were kind of having a monopoly, right? Search up BRICS, also BRICS, how they want to have a new currency for the whole world. And if they were to manage to do that, our dollar would be obsolete. So what is it? Which game do you want to play? Do you want to be in the United States where it's still a first world country, or do you want to be a second, third world country? Greenland. See the strategic positioning and benefits that it has for this country to be involved over there. and see how, was it Russia? I forgot. I have to look it up. My apologies. But how they were maneuvering themselves to be almost our neighbor in this side of the world, and we don't like it. Well, the president doesn't like it. Military interest and national security interest doesn't like it. So you have to ask yourself, right? See, our liberties, our freedoms come from what United States does, right? We have special interests over there by Iran also in that part of the world. That's why they have so military bases and everything. Because you have to understand that the moment when United States becomes something of a country that is not more, is not feared or respected anymore, then they will take over our freedoms. We will bow down to other people. We are a country of law and order, right? So all those wars we had for our freedom, World War One, Two, right? You have to respect the law. Even if you don't like the president, that's our president, right? He's not perfect, but he's looking out for the United States. If you feel offended because a white man is on top, why are you so? Why are you projecting? Why are you? See, if you're saying that they're racist and stuff like that, well, sure, some probably are, and some in our communities are racist. So let's not talk about who's racist or not. It's subjective. That's not the issue here. The issue is that social media has given everyone permission to act in a way that they feel uh marginalized. They feel like victims, right? See, we had the Black Lives Matter, we had the LGBTQ movement, and it's okay. You could protest, you could, this and that. Just do not push your wicked stuff onto viewers, onto kids. That's when I feel like they cross the line. I think, right? And well, what can I say? You are in the land of opportunity, right? Don't throw your life away for something that's not worth it. I am so sorry for this guy that lost his life with ice. He was a nurse. He was taking care of uh, a woman that was being pushed away. I am right wing, but even that to me was like, okay, it's too much. If we're not careful, this country could go into civil war, and the opposing team will not win. It will be quick. The government has too much power and too much ammunition. be smart and know that this is a country of law, right? You want your liberties, you want your freedom, you want the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, then understand that the United States of America does things for the country's interest. Because if it were not to be like that, right, then China will take over gladly, gladly and joyfully. And you've seen how COVID was, um, how they control COVID and how they control their citizens during COVID. You saw how they would round them up and incarcerate them in their own homes. So you think United States is bad? Well, that's it for today.